back, everybody. Last we saw, a group of vagabonds solved the conflict in Coolclaw Mine. Working with a mercenary named Alec, they managed to return the stolen supplies and prevent the looming starvation in the clearing. We resume in Coolclaw after some time has passed. So, how long have you guys spent? And I messaged you guys this earlier, but how long have you guys been in Coolclaw? You had the big, you were, kind of the heroes, or people knew who you were and were, celebrating you a little bit. The shortest I would say is it's been a week. The longest I would say would be up to like 3 months.
I would say maybe just a week, but what do you think?
I was leaning more maybe towards maybe a month-ish.
I think I'm cool with that.
Okay. What have you guys been up to in the past month in one night? Start with
I think I've been trying to work with the bartender to recruit people to do a resistance, but because the town is fine now, I don't think it's been very successful. Also, I'm very bad at it, so I think it's been a lot of me going around being like, hey, do you want to start a revolution? And then nobody really taking me up on the offer. And then I think maybe I've gotten one weird little frog to join, but he's way too extreme about it, and even he makes Poe nervous about it too.
Okay, all right, that's good. Go back to that in a second. And then, Jack, what have you been up to in the past month?
Probably more so researching, ways I can use the fox steel, trying to set up, at least a makeshift workshop for now of something I can move around. And if possible, if this is a place we can stay, maybe build, a permanent fixture here.
Okay.
But more so just seeing what I can do to make a more stable workshop while we move around.
Okay. All right, we're going to get started with a couple solo scenes. So for this, I'm going to leave it up to the specific player having the scene, whether or not they want it to be with the other players listening or not listening. So that's how we're going to do it in this game. Also, at any point in time, you can say headphones off, and the other players will have to take their headphones off if there's something you want secret in these scenes. So does everyone understand that? Fantastic. All right, we are going to start. Let's start actually with good old Jack there. So Jack, how obvious is it known in Coolclaw what your skill set is? Have you made it obvious to the other denizens, or are you keeping them at the end?
Yeah, I'd like to think after what we did, we told them, how I helped fix the cart, we telling the tale of how we got there. Not in depth, but people know I fix things. So maybe around the town, every now and then somebody comes up to me with something small, oh, my cart broke or something. And, I'm getting to know people through doing things like that.
Okay. I'd say it's about a week and a half in. The celebration has definitely died down. Things are a lot calmer in Coolclaw now that food has been back. It's a lot less of a celebratory state of mind here. And Sirius Claw Ritter, who you know as the right-hand man of Lord Scowl, comes up to you. And while you are around the village, not necessarily when you are in the Hoppled Frog with your companions, and says, Jack?
Oh, Sirius, how are you?
Very well, yourself?
No, not bad.
I am coming here partially on the behalf of Lord Scowl, but largely on the part of myself and my men. We have heard of your skill as a fixer of sorts, a creator, and I was wondering if we'd be able to perhaps strike some sort of bargain or deal. Our troops have a slight disadvantage against the Eyrie. They are much more nimble. They're much more adept at warfare in trees, with their kind of agility and ability to glide wings. And I was wondering if you could come up with something to help even the battlefield, as it were.
Yeah, I think I could come up with something. Or do you have any designs or ideas, that might even anything out?
I don't have anything in in mind. I'm a traditionalist at heart. I like a good sword spear, but anything that would help us maybe traversal-wise to even out, kind of get on their level, that might be advantageous. But I'm open to suggestions. You can have take the time you need to think about it. Maybe come by sometime with plans, and I can approve them. Give a final okay.
Yeah. I what kind of as you know, we're we work on our own, and we work for ourselves. So you mentioned a bargain. What are you offering?
Well, here I have a couple things. A coin, of course. We have coin we could offer. Perhaps a little more fox steel, not only to make this, if you think that would be beneficial to your process, but maybe keep a little more for yourself. And also, I'm not sure of your skills with working with fox steel, but there is a very talented blacksmith in town. I could make introductions to, perhaps convince him to take you under his wing if you're interested in learning more about how to become a smith.
Well, I try not to get my wings tangled in with anyone else's, but I'll I'd like to meet him, and maybe we can figure out something together.
I appreciate it. And offers you a gloved hand.
And I shake it.
Yeah, you can take some time to think about what you're going to do, because we'll shift back to you and the blacksmith in a little bit. Let's go to Poe.
Hello.
Poe, it has been. Yours is going to take place a little bit later. I want to say it's been like 2.5 weeks with you. You got your friend, your frog friend. We'll talk about, but that's about it. And it's looking like things have definitely not. The revolution has not sparked in Coolclaw the way perhaps Poe had hoped.
It's not as big as I'd hoped, but it's mighty. It's mighty for sure. I mean, Pip and Poe. That's how it is.
So this takes place in the basement of the Hoppled Frog. As you're saying this, and your frog friend is next to you. The frog friend is next to you, and so is Mala, the fox who runs the bar and is also interested in this. And the frog says, actually, my name is Jacques, but I like your nickname, Pip.
Good old Pip, never let me down.
See, I like the alliteration, yes. He's got he's a bright green frog with a painted on curly mustache. And he's got like a bandolier full of what looks like homemade explosives. And Mala does not share his enthusiasm, however. Now I appreciate everything you've done, Poe, but I think, as you realize, the people of Coolclaw aren't so willing to take up arms, especially after everything that happened against the Marquis. So I think we should start thinking about other options.
What? They involve explosives, or Pip has a whole bandolier of explosives. We spent like 2 weeks making those things. We gotta use them. We can't just do you know how much we've invested in this mall? You know how much
You see, Jacques is Jacques/Pip is playing with the explosives, smoking a cigarette. Well, I was thinking perhaps, you said you mentioned, you worked with the Woodland Alliance. I was wondering, do you have any friends? Could you tell me a little about how you got started there, or, anyone you might be able to tell of?
I haven't seen them in a bit. Well, last time I saw them, they sent me on a secret mission, and I went to the location, and, there was nothing there. And then when I went back to camp, everybody had packed up and gone. So I hear that I had to go deep undercover is the idea that I had, and then they would come to me once I finished the job. So I don't know where they are yet.
She got her face falls a little bit. All right, well, how much for that plan? I do have. In lieu of that, unless you're able to find, any sort of other, any of the woodlands in the nearby clearings, because I don't think there are any here, or we'd have found them by now. There is a town a little bit west of here. It's called Six Toe Stand.
Oh.
It's not aligned with the Woodland Alliance, or actually it's not aligned with any sort of faction. But there is a group of foxes that hold it now, that are legendary heroes. And perhaps you could go there, gain their favor, maybe bring some back, and hope for the best.
How many of them are there? Are there 7 of them?
Of the heroes?
Yeah, 7's a pretty good number for people that if you want, like, if you need a band of mercenaries to protect your little village town, I hear 7's a pretty decent, not round number.
I don't know how many there are currently. I haven't been there in many years, and I don't really get correspondence, but I know they're not aligned, so maybe they'd help us with the right price. I don't know what's going on there really, but I was just helping other foxes. I don't know.
Okay, I mean, that's a good start.
Either that, or if you, like I said, if you have a friend, if you or any of your friends can figure out where the Woodland Alliance are and maybe team up with them, we could start something here. But beyond that, I don't really.
Pip, do you know the Woodland Alliance is?
The Woodland Alliance is in our hearts.
That's it. See, Pip's fucking got. I mean, so I didn't mean to curse in front of you, Ball. I know you have a very bad disposition about it, but he's just fucking got it. You know what I mean? He's just firing at all cylinders. This is why I love this guy. But, yeah, we'll go to the next village over and see if we can find some samurai. Whatever the fuck you said.
And it's not the next clearing over. Like, hold on, and she grabs the map that everyone has on them, just for convenience for sake, and writes out where Six Toes Stand is. And it's a couple. It's a little bit farther than Fort Relino was. Relino was north. This is pretty far west.
Oh, okay.
I think do you guys have the old image? I think you do.
I do. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's in the Discord.
Is it that top left one?
No, I don't think it's that far. It is Coolclaw's on the far right. It's one to the left, and then from that diverging path it goes up. So it's as middle west as you can go.
Oh, okay. That's pretty far.
Yes, it's a bit of a hike. So I mean, I know it might take some time. I can't give you some provisions on the way. I mean, to take them away, but I don't really have any money or anything.
I could see if I can rope in Acton Arson. And Pip, you might want to stay here and hold the fort down, though, with your explosives.
Yes, someone must need to put these marketed cats into places if they act up.
I lean over to the mall. I'm genuinely worried he's gonna keep an eye on him.
And like in the background of this shot, you see him just staring at one of the explosies in his hand.
He lights it and then snuffs it and lights it and then
with his cigarette, just lights it.
It just keeps lighting it and putting it out. So, oh boy. Maybe we should send him to... No, that won't go. That won't... I'll do it. Just... He starts to leave the basement, and then he turns around. Just don't move the bar while I'm gone. I'll be right back, okay?
Yeah, I don't think we're going anywhere, no.
Okay. It just goes up the stairs.
Travels upstairs. Is there a scene you two want to have before we go back to Jack's second scene?
Scene of us together before we go to...
it'd be you guys talking about the prospective job, or we can shift to Jack.
Let's shift back to Jack for a little bit.
Okay, cool. Jack, it's been now a couple days, so we're about a week and a half into, maybe cresting on to 2 weeks after your talk with Sirius Florider. He has... Do you have plans? Has Jack come up with some plans in this half week?
Yeah, because he said that it's sort of ground to air combat essentially because they're in the trees. So he's kind of come up with launching saw blades.
Awesome. Is it what kind of how does it launch? Is it like a crossbow saw blade launcher? Like what is it like?
It's like a ballista.
Okay. So these are not single person tools. These are like war weapons. Is that what you're?
Yeah. It'd be like a two-person, wheel up, somebody kind of then holds it steady while someone else, fires.
Now, to pitch this idea, did you actually build one, or did you build a miniature of one, or did you just build a schematic, like a drawing of what it should be like?
It probably started with a schematic, and then I'm going, because part of this is I'm meeting with the blacksmith to learn with him. So, my idea is that I drew this schematic, brought it to the blacksmith, and then the two
You're
of
gonna
us
build it together?
would work. Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Okay. He after you have the schematic, you show it to Sirius very quickly. He seems to approve, and he brings you to Coolclaw once again is built kind of into a mountain, about 300 feet down from the main entrance to the mine. There's a small cave in the mountain where this man works. You see a huge rabbit. He's heads taller than you. Very buff, wearing a leather smock. He's got all sort of tools and a couple dark goggles on his head. Are you the guy?
Yeah.
Tomans.
Jack.
Pleasure. Kind of gestures for you to follow.
Kind of just hop along behind him.
And it's a very it's built into a cave. It's very sparse, but it is as soon as you walk in, you feel the heat of this smithy. There's a variety of swords, armor, mainly those two things. There are a couple other odd weapons if someone has specifically requested an axe or a mace, but there is good craftsmanship, but not necessarily good creativity coming out of this smithy. Is what your first impression is.
Well, it looks like you got some fine work here.
Sirius is. Add a little creativity, a little spice to my goings on here. Teach you how to swing a hammer on some steel.
Yeah, and I got a creative idea for some of those pesky, tree fights. Knock them down one way or another.
He looks over your schematic, which is, solidly a ballista. All right, is your intention here that, are you thinking the blades are going to be made out of the fox steel? Because that'd be pretty pricey to be using them like that. Are you intending the ballistas themselves to be the main steel work here?
No, I was thinking, the blades themselves would have the steel. That way they cut right through the trees. It's going to knock them right out.
Well, okay, hear me out. Let's spitball a little bit. Do you know, roll, I don't know if we talked about this before, do you know what fox steel is? I don't remember if you rolled for this on a previous episode.
I don't think we really rolled for the full, knowledge of it.
You could roll, I think you could probably roll your cunning.
Roll with my cunning. Okay, we got +2 to that.
What?
So that'd be an 8.
Okay, that's a mixed success. What you know offhand is that fox steel isn't necessarily sharper. The main advantage of fox steel over other generic steel or other specific types. Oh, that's something else you get with an 8. You do know there are lots of other steels. There's mouse steel, there's fox steel, there's rabbit steel, there's all sorts of kind of steels with different physical properties. Fox steel is just more durable. So it's not necessarily it'll cut through it faster. But what as you kind of play through this in your head, you hear Tomans say, but I mean the advantage might be here that we can get the blades back. I mean maybe if we attach them with some sort of thing to reel them back in, or some way to bring them back, that might be decent. So we're not constantly making new saw blades of that high quality steel.
Yeah, I mean we could try something with launch it with a rope and you crank it back, like we're fishing, or we could even instead of launching them, if we can get these things close enough, maybe some sort of shield in front as they push, it's just one giant, saw that goes into the tree, cuts it down.
Maybe like one big saw in front, and then one that can shoot two different saws.
Yeah, I mean, if we can manage that.
Okay, so this is your first tinkering roll. This is your toolbox move. Nope. Right? Is it? Yes, toolbox. You are dedicating yourself to making a thing, making a thing, basically. I will give you 1 to 4 conditions you must fulfill to accomplish it. Time taken, materials needed, help needed, facilities, tools needed, limits on the project. Okay, so what this is going to take is it's going to take a couple, you're going to have to roll a couple times with your cunning to kind of see how this turns out. You already have your materials laid out. This is going to take a good chunk of foxtail, which, obviously they have. I would say your current prototype, your plan is currently to make one that has the blade on front, the saw blade on front, and a shooting saw blade that can be retracted. And then if it goes well with, Sirius and then maybe a field test, then maybe they would commission more. But I think that's where this starts. So let's roll. The first roll is going to be for the main chassis and saw blade of this thing.
Okay.
So roll for that thing.
That's an 11.
Yeah, that's great. The chassis comes out. Is it exactly ballista? Is there anything different that sets it apart from the chassis other than the saw blade?
You're talking about the launching one, or just
no? I assume the launching one's gonna be kind of on top. I mean, this is how I'm picturing it. You can describe it however you want. The main body / wheels with the saw blade is what you're making now. That was what the 11 is. So describe it as much as you want, basically.
Yeah. So it's going to be the saw that kind of comes out of the front. And then it can do. I'm gonna say it's sort of on a a drive pulley, so as it moves, it can also spin. So it's always cutting in front.
Yeah,
as it's being pushed.
Yeah.
And then there's an option to manually spin it with a wheel in the back.
Okay, that's very cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. All right. Yeah, and it comes out you rolled an 11, so it comes out great. It is very easy to operate. You have enough levers and pulleys and using levers and stuff to where it's just a very easy wheel. One of them can spin to make the giant saw spin in front. And it seems very stable. And it's definitely wood, but it is reinforced with fox steel in important parts, so the chassis can last a little bit longer. And the blade is obviously fox steel too. Okay, roll for your second.
Rolled the same thing.
Another 11. Okay, yeah, the top half works just as good too. Describe how the retractable shooting saw works as well.
So I think that one's going to be on a crank with also another lever that kind of raises the the launcher. So it's kind of at an angle, so it can move up and down, and then it's got a crank, and the same thing, right next to it is a big hand crank that pulls it right back, so it launches. It's on the rope, and you pull it straight back.
Yeah, and Tomans helps you. You can write, so on your character, you don't use physical character sheets, do you? Let me pull up your other character sheet.
I've been writing in the Roll20.
Okay, you can roll on, because you rolled really well. I would write, and typically this is something in other games we need here too, called a clock. You can, basically you have 2/4 filled out of this clock, which is going to be basic blacksmithing. So by spending all this time with Tomans and working with him, for the better part of probably the next 2 weeks on this project, you've now learned, you haven't fully gotten it yet, you're about halfway done learning how to do basic blacksmithing by yourself. You have some ideas, you could probably try some stuff, but once you get it complete that clock, you will be proficient at blacksmithing alone.
Nice. Okay.
So, and with that too, I think after it's been a week and a half, 2 weeks, and you work pretty well with Tomans. I mean, obviously you work really well. So I think at the end of it, he says, I think you got that. Sirius told me you got that fox steel. Is there anything you'd like me to help you with to make? Or anything you want to make and have me supervise? Or you can wait on it.
Well, maybe we'll wait and see how this goes out.
Drops a plan. Think about it. Yeah. So next time anytime you come up with something, at least for the one, he will for free help you make something out of your fox steel ingots that you have in your personal stores. Okay. Yeah, and with that, we will go back to Poe.
Yeah.
Poe, it's been so that was about 2 weeks in. You see during these 2 weeks that Jack has been pretty absent. Do you tell him about any of your plans going forward?
No, Jack I'd probably tell. I'd probably try to get Orson and Jack in on my plan. I'm not sure if they'd do it, but like
yeah. Okay, then we will. Yeah, if you're gonna tell Orson too, then we will wait.
We just cut back to Cinnamon at the fire for like 30 minutes. He's just sitting there. Cooking a marshmallow. Cinnamon love marshmallow.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do the next part at that time, but that's fine. We'll do, we'll say, we're going to go to field testing. We're going to say, since you did well, the first field, actually, and Poe can come along for this, just for funsies. Unless are you going to keep any of this secret from Poe, Jack?
No, I mean, I think this would be hard to keep secret anyways, because you're going to see this giant thing come out of her anyway, so.
Yeah. So Poe, it's about a couple days after you had that conversation with Mala, and you see, well, either you see or Jack tells you about that there is a new device. Oh, that's an important thing. What are you naming this, Jack? What is this new device called? Or you can think about it during field testing and name it by the end of field testing.
Yeah, I'll come up with something there.
Yeah, so Poe, you see, or Jack tells you about this giant ballista that has a big saw blade on front, and there is a thing that launches a saw blade that can be retracted as well.
It's gonna be the ballista saw.
That's good.
Where are you telling me about this? Did I like find you at the field test in the woods, or like are you at the bar just telling me about it, or?
I'd say, we probably, because we all probably still stay at the same place.
Yeah.
So maybe one day we catch each other like eating or drinking, and ask what each other's up to, and I'm up and build something to keep the Eerie from encroaching on us.
That's good. We had an accident the other day. Pip blew his goddamn arm off. No, but it's cool. We built him a new arm. It's fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. It was bad though. It was real bad. I don't know if he's gonna be able to.
Ask me to build him an arm.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be way better. Because like when I said we built him an arm, I just mean we got him a crutch. But like he's not doing so good. He really didn't have around himself. It was so bad. I can't. I just started sobbing into my tree. The revolution that goes on. I'm not gonna lie to you, Jack. The revolution that goes on.
It's okay. Pip comes, drink your tears.
Pip comes in. He's got like one crutch, but there's a bunch of knives taped to it, pointing outward. Monsieur Jacques, I have a request. If you could perhaps commission me, I would commission you an arm. But this doesn't feel right. And he like lifts it. It sticks into the bar.
Yeah. I got an idea for you.
He puts on such a strong face. He's such a little trooper.
He sits at the bar and smokes.
Well, I'm sorry. What was your thing again?
I should make him like a Full Metal Alchemist arm.
Yes.
Or chainsaw arm. Everything you build has chainsaws.
Yeah, everything's.
Yeah, Yes, Pip is the individual to give a chainsaw to.
His real name, he had to change his name. It was Jacksaw.
Jax. Okay, so yeah, for your for this field test, you know that Tomans is going to be there, and Sirius, and maybe 2 other like front soldiers. And your plan is to, ahead of time, is to take it into the woods, and just try it on some trees that are like, infested with beetles that are going to dying out.
Yeah, it was probably like something they needed to cut down anyways, and then use it for lumber and stuff.
Yeah, for fires too.
All right, gentlemen, are we excited?
I Sirius walks up to you. I'm very excited and interested. Who's going to be operating this machine? Is it going to be? Are you and Tomans going to? Do you know?
Yeah, it's a 2-man operations, and we built it, so I think the 2 of us should, demonstrate it.
Okay. So typically, operating equipment in this game is a finesse roll, I believe.
Well, that's probably bad. Hold on.
Are you? I think you have. Don't you have finesse?
I have a +1 to finesse.
I was gonna say your finesse. I think is okay. Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit!
What'd you get?
A 13.
That's awesome.
I rolled perfectly plus my +1.
Yeah. It like so. Which part are you using when you do this? Are you using the?
This would be the launcher first.
Yeah. Describe what it looks like as you roll a 13.
So you see us, kind of leveling it, and then, like, all right. So this is how you're. One way you can knock them out of the trees. This is gonna launch and, cut off the tops of the trees and, cut them in half, and hopefully, all the branches come down, and it's gonna go like this, and you hear the, and it, the spring goes, and you just see it spinning, flying through the air, and cuts right through the smaller tree, and the blade drops to the ground past it, and we just slowly crank it back.
Sirius looks, very impressed, and I think it's 2 soldiers. Like one of them claps, the other one just looks dumbstruck. That was very nicely. I'd like to see the other portion too, but this is very promising.
Sure. This one, this other portion requires getting up close. If something happens to the launcher, or you just can't get a good shot. If you can get right up on them, we can try to cut through this way. That's a 7.
It goes through, but it's not as, I think the way the launcher was designed is just the way the launcher was designed is just a lot more effective, or it was just really good shot and like slice through it. This takes a little bit more time. Like it takes a little bit of time for Tomans to start the wheel up. So it does cut through, but it's not quite as impressive as the launching portion. But Sirius still seems fairly impressed, and he says, "This is still very nice. I think this would be a great asset in our battle against the Weary. I think I'll have to talk to Lord Scowl about funds, but I think we could probably commission at least 2 more of these. Yes, I mean he offers you a bag of coin right there and says, if there's anything else you would need, just you know where I am. Great,
thank you. It's been fun working on this.
Takes your hand again, and he and the 2 soldiers kind of carry off the ballista to Lord Scowl's feet.
In the distance, you hear an explosion, and then Poe yells, "Oh, Pip, you blew the other damn! Oh, Pip, no!"
Monsieur, this is it. This is the end.